Very good morning, friends. Myself, Dr. Naval Singh Todawat, professor in the subject of the botany from Moreshwar Arts, Science and Commerce College, Bokarga. Friends, as you have completed your first sem exams and as we are directed to have an online teaching or online talk with the students due to our pandemic and COVID 19. So, in this next semester or in the upcoming semester, myself will be dealing with you with the diversity of a cryptogram second, a title of a paper. Well, in this paper, we'll be having a discussion on the bryophytes as well as the pteridophytes. Well, talking on the bryophytes, what we see that the bryo are the very minute and simplest and small plants which can be easily under our foot, and these are the plants which usually go on the moist and the shady places. Sometimes you see they grow on the soils as well as on the sometime stones, rocks, and sometimes on the dew plants. So bryos means moss, or we may call it as the mosses, Bryophyta. Well, there are 960 genera with the 24,000 species. So, friends, this PPTs are being taken from the easybiologyclass.com, and we are very thankful for them. We don't have any claim, and it's just a purpose of a teaching and nothing else. So, friends, while learning of the general characters of a biophytes, it's a habit and a habitat. We see that these plants are the cosmopolitan and very uncommon in the marine environments. We do find terrestrial but require water at every stage of their growth, of their life cycle. Mostly it prefers moist and the shady places. Where the condition is very humid, they fail to complete the life cycle without the water. In the absence of water, they are unable to complete their life cycles. So, few bryophytes are truly aquatic. For example, Rixia. Some are grow in bogs and marshy areas like sphagnums. Porilla is an epiphytic bryophyte that grows on tree trunks. Radula protensa is an epiphyllous bryophyte which grows on the surface of a leaves. Look at the habitat. Well, we see it in the water, that is truly aquatic. Well, we see the bryophytes in the marshy and wet lands or areas. We do find on the tree trunk known as the porella, and it is an epiphytic. We do find on the leaves too, on the aerial parts of the tree, that is the radula protensa, and xerophytic bryophytes, which grows in the desert too, Tortula desertorum. So, bryophytes have or can survive in a different type of the habitats. Well, bryophytes fundamentally are the land plants, and their adaptations is according Bryophytes possesses roots. Actually, those are not roots, but the rhizoids like a structure which seems to be looks like a very minute thin and a hair-like. And the purpose and the functions of these rhizoids is to absorb the water and the solutes from the soil. Free surface is epidermis is coated with waterproof waxy coating to prevent the water loss and protect against desiccations. Bryophytes possesses stomata-like structures for the exchange of the gaseous. It also possesses multicellular sex organs surrounded by the sterile jacket. After fertilization, the zygote is left inside the archegonium to provide the nutrition for the sporophyte development. So these are the features to survive, which helps to survive the bryophytes to live on a land conditions. Why bryophytes? The amphibians. Amphibians is the animal kingdom lives in water as well as in land. Similarly, bryophytes represent by liverworts, hornworts, and mosses grow well in the areas between water and the terrestrial habitats. That is why the bryophyte too are called as the amphibian plants. When it is asked that which are the amphibian plants, then you can easily answer that these bryophytes are the amphibian plants like and similar like animals. They do survive on the land as well as on the water. Well, it needs a water to complete its life cycle. Bryophytes are dependent on water to complete its life cycle. Presence of water is required and very essential for the few phenomenon, for the few things, which are those dehiscence of a mature antheridia. Antheridia is the male organs in the bryophytes. Liberation of anthrozoids from antheridia. Anthrozoids are a spores-like structure. Transfer of anthrozoids from antheridia to archegonia. Well, from female one to the male one. And opening of a archegonial neck. Movement of a flagellated anthrozoids into the archegonial neck. So these are the few things which happens in the life cycle of the bryophytes, and thus water is an very important aspect, and it's a very what we can say the crucial need presence of the water. Thus they are called an amphibians in the plant kingdom. Well, we repeat what type of functions or the process mechanisms takes place for the survival and to complete the life cycle of the bryophytes. So dehiscence of mature antheridia, dehiscence means it breaks down. When the antheridia is matured, it breaks down. After breaking down, there will be the liberation of the anthrozoids. It will be liberated, it will release the anthrozoids from the antheridia. Thus, the releases anthrozoids from antheridia are transferred to the archegonia, while in the opening neck of archegonial and movement of these flagellated anthrozoids into the archegonial neck takes place by this water movement. So well, you can look out at this diagram which is seen in these slides of the funaria. Gametophyte of a bryophyte. What is gametophyte? Gametophyte is the what we can say the whole plant body. The whole plant body of a bryophyte is called as a gametophyte. Life cycle consists of a gametophytic and sporophytic phases. Two phases occurs in the life cycle of the bryophytes plant, gametophytic and sporophytic. Gametophytic and sporophytic generations are physically connected with each other. Gametophytic and sporophytic phases are heteromorphic, means that morphologically they are completely different and distinct. Sporophytic as well as gamophytic. Well, friends, what are the characteristics of the gamophytic generation in the bryophyte? Well, you see in the instant three diagrams. In first, you can see the Rixia, Markensia, and Funaria. Well, in the Markensia, you see the cup-like structure in this second one diagram. Well, after zooming out, you can visit. See, look out at this 1, 2, and 3 1. So this is Funaria, this is Markensia 1. So friends, when we talk about the characteristics of the gamophyte and the sporophyte and how they are linked with the generation, gametophytic generation is more conspicuous phase in the life cycle of the plant. This generation is long-lived and prominent phase. It is dependent, it is independent, green autotrophic phase. This is the plant, gametophytic plant is fleshy. In lower form, gametophyte is undifferentiated and thyloids. In higher forms, gametophyte is differentiated into root, leaf and stem-like structure. But in lower form, in bryophytes, plant cannot be differentiated. So it is undifferentiated and thyloid. But in bigger form, higher form, it can be differentiated into root-like structure, into leaf-like structure, into stem-like structure. So well friends, we do see the gametophytic features or characters of the bryophytes. Well, now we see the sporophytic features, characteristic generation of the bryophyte. What are the sporophyte? Sporophytic generation is less conspicuous phase in the life cycle than the gametophytic. Sporophytic generation is short-lived, whereas the gametophytic is long-lived. Sporophyte is completely dependent on gametophytic plant for nutrition. Usually differentiated, sporophyte is usually differentiated into food, seta and capsule in the bryophytes, while the gametophyte is undifferentiated into lower form and differentiated into bigger form. So this is what the difference between the sporophytic and the gametophytic structure or the phase or the in the life cycle of the bryophytes. So friends, all these slides are taken from the www.easybiology.class.com. Well, this is the only purpose for the teaching. Well, we don't have any claim, and I request the student to take down the notes from these PPTs and these videos. Please write down it, repeat it, and if you have any queries or questions regarding this topic, so you may contact me on my cell phone and WhatsApp number too, without any hesitation. So with this, I stopped my lecture. Thank you.